Hello and welcome to another tutorial. I'm Virkayu, and instead of showing you early game or end game fantasies, we're going to look at how you can brute force a victory with Olaf in the mid game. We go slightly an atypical build. Instead of building tank, we go a bit more AD, but I felt it was necessary to carry the game with a very Fetristana on my team. We're going to once again look at how you can recover from a terrible start to take over the mid game with decisiveness and thunder. So yeah, I die twice again in the beginning. This seems to be a thing with me. I commit the cardinal sin of jungling though. When someone cheeses you with a buff, don't go back there. I didn't expect them to stick around to clear my whole top side, but I really should have, and I should have just gone cleared my bottom side and be done with it. However, my Syndra rotates after a ping-a-ton, and she collects the kill and some double buffs. Not the worst trade at all. What I look to do next is simply go by the 5 steps I mentioned in the previous video on getting back into the game. I'll put that in the top right now. I ensure to take safe routes and avoid the Rengar, and take note when he shows on the map, because you need to know when it's safe to farm and when it's not. With Olaf you do get low. You want to be low because you have life steal from your W and your kit, but you don't want to interact with a jungler when you're this low and he finds you doing Gromp. You're just going to die. So the next interaction we have is a level 6 where Rengar is tower diving with the enemy bot being way overconfident. I managed to hit an axe just in time to avoid the Rengar getting executed. They overcommitted, they got weak, they managed to get a kill, sure, but it allowed us to get back into the game and kill the Rengar. And then I took down the Victor with the help of Syndra. I had my ult, I knew I had the lifesteal, and I knew he was being greedy walking back the way after he just saw me kill the Rengar. A more experienced player would have probably gone around the long way. We punish him for it, and now we can carry on as usual, as if the start was great if every lane was neutral or winning. My bot lane ends up being very fed, and actually helps me carry the game, but this is despite a weak start from them and a weak start from me. So it's good to know that you can transition from a weak start to be stronger in the mid game, and that's what we're focusing on in this video. I clear some more jungle and I see the Rengar use a plant next to my blue buff because he still thinks it's up from the second spawn, but sadly for him I actually started there to make sure he couldn't get it. I chase him down with Syndra and even though I missed some axes, we're able to burn his flash simply in exchange for my ult, which is always a good trade. I'll go back and spend the gold from my kills that I got before, and I proceed to the mid lane to cover for Syndra, who had just had to go back. My bot lane has actually managed to take the bottom side tower and is currently rotating up. I feel I'm in a good spot right now, so I push to solo queue the Victor after I hit my first axe. I use my ult, I use everything, and I make sure to kill him. I managed to do this as 3 of my team end up arriving in the mid lane just in time to take the tower. I steal the Rengar's blue, we grab a Drake, and now we're in prime position for Olaf to take over the mid game by forcing his lead. I need to make sure I get into the enemy's face this game and force him to waste spells on me. If you want to dominate the mid game, you have to know when you have that edge and exploit it to take objectives. Don't run around killing people and farm. Help get your team ahead, or if you have a good ADC that's ahead like we do here, work with them to take control of the game before the enemy realize what's happening. We actually end the game in a quick turnaround fight later on, so let's see how we get there. Right after clearing my red, I go straight back to mid, and even though I again miss my axe, we secure the kill on Victor. These are the best ganks. You kill them, you take some objectives, and right as they get back into the lane to feel comfortable, you punish them again and kill them again. This can tilt them and also gives you such a great pressure point in the mid game when you have so much room to play with because they're consistently down a member for at least a couple minutes. After the events in the mid lane, I figured I wanted to be more of a carry in this game and so decided on Black Cleaver instead of going pure tank and getting Righteous Glory. This means the onus is on me to do my part in closing out the game because I'll just be squishy and useless later on. I see the enemy team invading toward my jungle, but at this point I'm 2 levels now up on the Rengar. I storm into them with no worries in the world, my team collapses and I leave the kill for Trist. While my team chases and catches up to the enemy MF and Victor, I focus on healing up so I can rush top lane where a very large doggy is split pushing. Even though I just managed to kill him, sort of whose cooldowns came off quicker, he legitimately almost 3v1s us. He is actually quite fed. A quick note, after fighting like that when you're low HP, a lot of people tend to sit in that fanatic brush and go back. Had I done that, the enemy blitz would have killed me. Don't be lazy, just run back to base. The lost seconds running is greater than dying and losing something more important than time in this game. Really, the 10 seconds is no skin off my back, but had blitz killed me, we lose objective pressure and now my team is at a disadvantage. A few minutes later after completing my Black Cleaver, I'm moving up toward the enemy jungle and actually take a lazy path. Always ward that red buff bush just before you're advancing. You never know who might be hiding there and you don't want them to collapse and kill you. However, I'm confident in my lead, my items and my power spike. I see Syndra ready to rotate as she pings, and so I just go all in. If you're playing Olaf, your W gives you a lifesteal steroid the lower your HP is, so even though you might look dead in the water, you're actually okay, as we were here, but nevertheless, we grab some kills and secure another dragon. Once again, when you get kills and a numbers disadvantage, you should immediately be looking for objectives. And in the rare case where this just isn't possible because you haven't been good about your side lanes and your wave minion control, go deny farm, steal the enemy jungle, clear their vision, and place your own in order to be able to make picks or team fights so you can focus objectives after that. We do that here after securing a dragon. We bait in the enemy and we kill 3 of them. After the rest of my team respawns and I upgrade to buy a BF sword because I intend to be a little bit greedy and spring for a GA, we head towards the Baron. We did this because we noticed the Rengar, Blitz, and Lux are all on or heading to the dragon side of the map, so we immediately just turn and take it. Remember, again, in pretty much most elos you'll find very strong opportunities to take Baron just by having average vision, and the enemy team not really understanding the state of the game. You can see that here, Nasus has no idea and just walks by. Make sure you take advantage of this and burn a Baron when it's free. Don't wait and have a 50-50 smite contest between junglers. You want that Baron to be as secure as possible, and differing abilities, smite levels, and burst timings can make outsmiting each other very difficult, especially for your jungler. So when you see a free Baron with the enemy jungler dead, or multiple enemies on the other side of the map, go for it. As we're at the end of the mid game sort of, and we're really starting to transition to the end game, it's imperative we use this lead to close out. If you're in gold plat, you can definitely be sure that there will be windows for you to do so. Sadly, our Darius and Syndra overpush and die, and I'm sure this happens in most of your games too. It still happens in mine. This is unfortunate, but you can see that they have 4 on the bottom side and Nasus in the top. I'm alone in the mid, and because of my itemization, my AD is decently high, so I can take an inhib and a tower without much problem, especially with the Baron buff. The enemy has an absolute terrible teamfight bottom side, consistently going in one by one into my fed Tristana. I simply push out the mid and secure free inhibitor. No one bothers to rotate or realize what's actually happening. Now this will happen in most of your games, so please pay attention to when the enemy team has terrible macro. Look for ways to punish it. Don't go down and help Tristana. They're all wasting time and I have a Baron. It's a free inhib for us. Focus on that. I then joined Trist to kill their entire team save for Nasus. Great work. I mean, this won't happen in every game, but if it does, I had to make a decision based on that. We do overagreed trying to secure a second inhib tower when we should have just left. Most likely going to be caught and killed here, I just turn onto them in hopes of killing at least one person. I do manage to kill the Blitz, and because of this I have enough gold for my GA, which I can use in the next fight. After respawning, I head immediately to the dragon area where we hope to seal our 3rd, and then focus on the bottom side inhib. But it never works out that way, does it? Tristana makes a crucial error and goes too aggressive. She dies. And this is where we have the ultimate Olaf spike. We've got Black Cleaver, we've got a bit of a troll GA, we rush in, we kill 3 of them without team's help, and it's just Nasus and myself dueling it out. I ping for Darius to come back because I can hold my own and I know I have the GA. Nasus gets baited into staying and Darius secures the kill while my GA pops. We push up for the inhib, and through the enemy continually making silly decisions, sending 1 or 2 at a time into me, and some great run and turn teamfighting from us, as well as Trist respawning and coming up to the bottom side, we're able to pick them off one by one and end the game. I had to know my lead and be ready to exploit the fact that I had taken mid inhib, while also being able to pick them off with Tristana by hitting axes and zoning them, but at the same time, doing my fair share of the damage. The fact that I knew exactly how far ahead I was, as with the Tristana, we were able to force the issue and severely punish the enemy's disjointed method of playing. A few of you might point out that we couldn't have done this if the enemy was more coordinated. Well, that's not the point, is it? The point is that in most games in League, you will get nonsense like this. You will get fiestas, you will get bad macro, you get people chasing kills. It's how you play around that and focusing on the point of the game, killing the enemy nexus, that will determine how quickly you rank up or how many games you win. And that's why I'm showing you this. So don't focus on the enemy's mistakes, but what you can do about it. Know when you're strongest, and if you're going to be a bit greedy with your build, like I was this game, know when to use the power spike to end the game because it won't pay off in the long run if your champion doesn't scale. Play measured. Don't be too scared, but don't be too overconfident. Find that balance and take the lead in the mid game. So I hope this helps you guys realize the power of a strong mid game Olaf, and that you can build something a little bit cheesy on the champion you're playing. Doesn't have to be Olaf if you're ahead, and if you know how to use that to force action and win the game. Depending on your rank, these things will happen more or less often, but when they do, know that you can carry. Thank you very much for watching. Axe the like button if you learned something, comment and subscribe for more League guides, and I will see you all in the next tutorial.